In today's video I'm going to be making a few different treats for my family. So on the menu today we've got flapjacks, which is basically a baked oatmeal, something that we absolutely love, and I'm experimenting with making it with honey today. I'm going to be making chocolate chip muffins, which my kids are going to be really happy about. I'm going to be making some lemon drizzle cake, which is my all-time favourite cake, and then some freshly milled flour focaccia, which is a bit of an experiment. I've got the water and the flour soaking together right now, and I'm going to be getting on with making that at first. For this freshly milled flour focaccia, I am basically following my sourdough focaccia recipe, which is over on the blog. I'll link it in the description box below if you're interested. The only thing I'm changing really is the amount of water that I'm putting in there, because freshly milled flour is very thirsty and it absorbs a lot of water, so I've increased that, but apart from that there are no changes. Now I'm on to making these flapjacks. Now this recipe comes from a book that I used to cook from when I was a young girl and it's still my favourite flapjack recipe. So I'm melting together some butter and some sugar, and I'm going to add some honey. Now in the original recipe that would be golden syrup, but I don't have any, so I'm using honey instead. Later on I'll be adding porridge oats to that too, and a teaspoon of salt. It's such an easy recipe and really delicious. And now for the chocolate chip muffins. So I'm adding 200 grams of freshly milled flour, a teaspoon and a half of baking powder, about half a teaspoon of salt, then I'm adding 2 eggs, (120 milliliters of olive oil, (100 grams of starter, (200 grams of honey, a splash of vanilla essence, and of course I mustn't forget the chocolate chips. They were added in at the end. This is a really easy batter to mix up, and now I'm going to put it in the fridge overnight to ferment. Now that the butter and sugar have melted together, it's time to add the oats and the salt to these flapjacks. In the original recipe there are raisins that you can add too, but I prefer it with just the oats. Sometimes I add a few chocolate chips, but today we're having it plain. I will leave the recipe in the description box below if you want to give this delicious snack a go. For this lemon drizzle cake, I'm going to be using the same basic recipe as the muffins, except I'm going to be using sugar instead of honey. So I've got 200 grams of freshly ground flour. To that I'm going to be adding the dry ingredients. So 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. About 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm going to add the wet ingredients. 2 eggs. $120 grams of oil. $100 grams of sourdough starter. Oh, I need the scales for that. I don't have quite enough, so I'm just going to leave it at that. It's 84 grams of sourdough starter. I forgot the sugar, so I'm going to add that now too. I think I'm going to add just 150 grams because I don't want it to be too sweet. There will be some sugar in the drizzle topping too, so that's why I don't want to add too much to the cake batter, otherwise it will be way too sweet. I'm going to add a glug of vanilla essence, and then the most important thing, the zest of 2 lemons. And now I'm just going to pop this in the fridge to ferment overnight. Back to the focaccia. I'm doing some stretch and folds to strengthen the gluten, and I'll do this throughout the day, just when I think about it. The flapjacks are out of the oven and looking amazing. Now you do need to make sure you cut them up while they're warm, otherwise they will be too crumbly and break. This is the next morning, and I'm taking the focaccia out of the fridge where it's been fermenting overnight, and I'm going to be putting it in this tin to rise for a couple of hours so that it's nice and bubbly, and it'll have all of those big air holes that we love in focaccia. So it's the next day today, and I'm going to bake up the lemon drizzle cake and the chocolate chip muffins. So I'm going to get the lemon cake into a loaf pan and the muffins into my muffin pan, and they will both cook at 180 degrees Celsius. The lemon drizzle cake probably for about 40 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on it, I'm not really sure. And the muffins for about 20 to 25 minutes. While the lemon cake is baking, I'm making the drizzle topping. So this is basically just sugar and lemon juice. And the lemon juice will soak into the cake and make it really moist and lemony. The sugar will crystallize on the top of the cake, making it a little bit crunchy and a little bit sweet. It's so delicious. I really love this cake. Look how bubbly that focaccia is. I love doing this dimpling. It's my favourite part of baking focaccia. I'm going to bake this in the oven and then you'll see in next week's video what I did with this focaccia. So make sure you're subscribed and don't miss next week's video. These flapjacks are so good. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And why don't you leave me a comment below, just a heart emoji, or maybe let me know what you enjoy baking for your family in the summer for snacks. I'll see you next time. Bye!